Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming. My name is Jacob Fisher. I'm 25 years old. I'm a BCBA, and I work in New York, United States of America. Um, I'm honored to have the opportunity to speak with you about a topic that is not only close to my heart, but it's also very crucial for many individuals and families. That topic is applied behavior analysis, or ABA therapy, as some of you might know it. So, just a quick introduction. To begin, let's unpack what ABA therapy is. At its core, ABA is a scientific approach to understanding behavior and learning. It employs techniques and principles to bring about meaningful and positive changes in behavior, particularly for individuals with autism and related behavior conditions. Now, to understand its significance we have to dive into its exact history, when it was created, how it was created. So ABA therapy has its roots in the early 20th century, drawing from the work of psychologists such as John Watson and B.F. Skinner, the father of behaviorism. They emphasize observable behavior over introspection. Later, Skinner expanded on this with his concept of operant conditioning, which some of you might know, which underpins many ABA techniques that we use today. In 1960, Dr. Ivor Lavas pioneered the application of these principles in therapy for children with autism. His groundbreaking work really laid the foundation for what we recognize as ABA today. While early methods have evolved, Laavo's commitment to demonstrating the effectiveness of structured behavior intervention was instrumental in changing the lives of many. Um, Over the decades, ABA therapy has matured significantly. Today, it encompasses a range of techniques and strategies tailored to individuals' needs, anywhere from discrete child training to natural environment teaching. ABA therapists have really adapted their approaches to ensure that they meet each person where they are. Um, as we look at the evolution of this practice, it's really essential to acknowledge the rigorous research and ethical considerations that now guide ABA. The field has made great strides in emphasizing client dignity, family involvement, and collaboration goal setting, ensuring that the therapy is not just about compliance, but also about empowering individuals, which is a really big one. Now, I want to explore the life-changing benefits of ABA therapy. And research shows that ABA can lead to significant improvements in communication skills, social interactions, and daily living skills. It can reduce challenging behaviors and promote positive behaviors, which really paves the way for a greater independence. Now, for many families, ABA therapy can also offer hope. Parents often describe witnessing their children make profound strides in their ability to communicate, engage with others and friends and peers, and while also navigating everyday challenges. Now, these improvements don't just benefit the individual receiving therapy, they ripple through families, through schools and communities, fostering inclusion and understanding. Many of us can can benefit from this. As you know, some of you might be teachers, some of you might be leaders, and sometimes somewhere you work or somewhere you have services is only as strong as its weakest link. And having individuals who can now ripple through everyone else and become that more independent, navigate everyday challenges better, it's a true blessing and it's really amazing. Now, to illustrate this impact, I want to share a brief story. Meet Sarah, for example, a bright and spirited child that has been diagnosed with autism. At the age of 3, she really struggled to express herself and express her needs, often resorting to frustration and meltdowns, as some of you might be familiar with in your own personal lives. With the help of ABA therapy, Sarah learned to communicate her feelings using simple words and gestures. And over time, her social skills blossomed, allowing her to play with peers and share her interests. And today, Sarah thrives in school and her family enjoys like a deeper connection with her than they ever thought would be possible. Now, of course, it's important to address the criticism and challenges that surround ABA therapy. Some critics argue that traditional methods may be too rigid or to focus solely on compliance. However, the field has evolved to prioritize a more holistic approach, which really emphasizes on the individual's strengths and preferences in collaboration with families and incorporating their insights is now more of a cornerstone of ABA practice. Now, looking ahead in the future, the future of ABA therapy is actually very bright. As research continues to expand, we are seeing innovations in technology, including telehealth services and data collection tools that enhance the ABA therapy delivery. Furthermore, the emphasis on diversity and cultural competency in therapy ensures that we can meet the needs of broader range of individuals of individuals and families. My apologies. So, in conclusion, ABA therapy is more than just a set of techniques. It's a transformative process that can unlock potential and improve the quality of life for countless individuals. Its rich history, combined with its proven benefits, highlights the importance of continued advocacy, education, and ethical practice in our field. That is it for my speech. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about myself and my personal journey into ABA therapy, into the field of ASD, autism spectrum disorder. I'm 25. I had a cousin who had autism. And a very long time ago, I was a young kid, and that actually scared me. So I never really looked into it. I was 8 at the time. My life progressed, I went to college in America in New York City, and I had to figure out what to do next. And I loved children. So I went ahead and I took a gap year. And when I got back, a friend of mine said to me, "You should try doing ABA therapy." I had absolutely no idea what ABA therapy was. I go ahead and I call up a firm that he was working for, and I said, "Hey, what is ABA therapy?" And they explained it to me. And I said, "You know what? That sounds pretty interesting." In my first case, I was given a very low functioning individual. His name was Josh. Josh was very low functioning, and I was able to help him through ABA therapy. He had something called selective mutism. Some of you might have heard of this. Um, a lot of times, individuals or kids with autism, they're smarter than us, so they could get away with more things than we can. So, for example, Josh really wanted juice in the fridge. He just didn't want to open the fridge, so he would just stand in front of the fridge and scream and whine until someone opened the fridge for him. So he learned to go ahead and scream to get the fridge opened. So slowly through our ABA techniques and our ABA services, we were able to go ahead through negative reinforcement, positive punishment. We were able to diminish the selective mutism and start the communication. And I've never seen anything like it. I remember I was like 19 at the time, and through these techniques, we were changing him, and the families were happier, he was happier, and it was such an amazing thing to see. And from there, I decided I need to go into this more. So I worked full time as what's called an RBT, a registered behavior technician. And full time I was working and I was doing amazing things. So I said, what's the next step? And the next step was graduate and go to school to become a BCBA, which is a board certified behavior analyst. Board certified behavior analysts are registered therapists that can work with individuals while applying ABA therapy. It's specifically for autism or on the spectrum, as I understand it, but they're the ones overseeing the RBTs. And I wanted to be that. I really did. So I went ahead and I worked and I studied, and 2 years later, I became that. And I'm very fortunate to be there today. I recently worked and partnered up with a company called LBAPS ABA, LBAPS ABA. They are an absolutely amazing company. They work with kids high on the spectrum, low on the spectrum in school, in camp, one-on-one, in group sessions. I'm very thankful to be a part of them today. They were able to give me a hybrid position where I'm doing business development as well as BCBA work. So I'm able to spearhead two things at once. It's a truly amazing opportunity, and I am confident and positive that we could all benefit from ABA therapy, whether it's in our everyday lives, for our children, our loved ones, our caregivers. So thank you for your attention today. I hope this exploration of ABA therapy inspires you to learn more, advocate for those in need, and contributes to positive change that we seek for individuals and families that have been touched by autism and related questions, challenges. I'm happy to take any questions you might have. No questions? Well, thank you everyone for joining. I hope this was very informative. If anyone can, if anyone would like to look more into this, I would love to go ahead and share information. I can have some very informative articles. I have a good website you guys could look at. Let me know, and I would love to send out that website. Until then, thank you so much, and have a great rest of your day. I'm just going to continue now with another segment about how ABA therapy is different than other therapies. Um, it's a lengthy process and there's a lot that goes into it. Um, there are ups and downs and things along those lines. So today I want to talk to you about a unique form of therapy that is making a significant impact on the individuals, called applied behavior analysis. Um, First and foremost, ABA is data driven. For every intervention, behavior modification, and technique used, I just got a question: is ABA effective if we start it later, like after 10? So yeah, ABA therapy is effective no matter what age. Um, ABA therapy in and of itself is behavior related. So we all exhibit behaviors. Me, my dad, my grandfather, my baby. We all exhibited behaviors in one way or another, and we all have positive and negative reinforcements in one way or another. For example, as a child, you might take away my bottle, and then I start to cry. That's negative punishment, negative reward. So we have these things every day in life. We just really focus on it, emphasize it at in individuals with autism. So yes, to answer your question, we can start later at the age of 10. You could even start at the age of 20, start at the age of 1. Um, so first and foremost, every intervention, behavior modification, and technique used in ABA is packed by evidence, collected directly from the individual's behavior. The focus is on observable and measurable data. So for example, if I come to you and say, this guy can fly, you need data. No one will believe anything. No one will implement behavior plans if there's no data to show it. Meaning every decision is based off data, not assumptions or theoretical models. This allows ABA to be tailored specifically to each individual, ensuring the most effective treatment possible. And that's why ABA is so special in a nutshell, because it's tailored specifically to each individual. And that's a really unique thing. You go to a therapist, they might sit down, they might say, you're sad, you're happy, you're depressed. It's not the same thing, because we break down those complex skills that allow us to have a specific behavioral plan for each child. ABA also differs in its approach to behavior reaction. When working on reducing challenging behaviors, ABA looks really deeply at the function of behavior, essentially why the behavior occurs, instead of merely addressing symptoms or punishing undesirable actions. ABA seeks to understand the individual is trying to communicate through their behavior, and then teaches more appropriate alternatives. So this functional approach makes ABA highly adaptable and personalized, whereas other therapies might not use or offer the same level of customization. Moreover, ABA therapy is often applied in natural settings like homes, schools, and communities. This helps individuals generalize skills and apply what they learned in real-world environments, which is interesting if you think about it. I'm just going to keep comparing it to like routine therapy. You go to a doctor's office, you sit down in your therapy office. We try to actually veer away from that as much as possible, because a lot of times the problematic behavior that individuals with autism will exhibit are very often in a home-based setting. He won't brush his teeth. She won't go to bed on time. So by implementing ABA therapy in areas where you could be specific and individualized, and it could be really, in a word, customized. You want it to be done in the behavioral setting that things are going, I guess you could say, wrong. Um, Other forms of therapy may take place in more controlled or clinical settings, which can make it harder to transfer those skills to everyday life. Finally, ABA has a really strong focus on reinforcement, particularly positive reinforcement, to encourage desired behaviors. This differs from some therapies that focus on more talk-based or emotional insight without specific reinforcement strategies. In ABA, we reward progress and positive behaviors to ensure that individuals are motivated to continue learning and growing. So ABA therapy, I guess to sum up everything I said, ABA therapy is individualized, is data-driven, and function-based approach sets it apart from other therapeutic modalities. It focuses on breaking down skills, addressing behaviors based on their function, and using reinforcement, which makes it a very powerful tool for helping individuals achieve meaningful and lasting change. And that's really what we're looking for. I'm going to go ahead and answer some common questions that are very often asked to me. The first of which, let me just pull up the sheet. Right. The first of which is, how does ABA therapy adapt to different ages or developmental levels, which was kind of what was asked before. So, one second. Okay. So the question would focus on how ABA is tailored. One moment. Good morning. Okay, so you came just in time. We're talking about how different questions in ABA therapy might be answered. So the first one I want to talk about is the one that we already spoke about, is how does ABA therapy adapt to different age groups and developmental levels? So ABA therapy is a highly adaptable and therapy that can be tailored to meet the needs of individuals at any age or developmental stage. For children, especially those with autism, ABA focuses on building foundational skills like communication and social interaction. For adults, ABA might focus more on life skills, vocational training, or behavioral intervention in specific environments. The key is that ABA looks at the individual's current skill level and builds from there regardless of age. Another question I get all the time are, what are some misconceptions about ABA therapy? So one misconception is that ABA is only for children with autism, but in reality, it can be used for a wide range of populations, including adults and individuals with other developmental or behavioral challenges. Another misconception is that ABA is rigid and robotic. In fact, ABA is quite the opposite. It's very flexible and individualized, often involving playful and engaging methods to teach new skills. Whereas lastly, some people believe ABA is purely focused on compliance, but modern ABA emphasizes teaching functional and meaningful behaviors that improve the individual's quality of life. That's a big one. I actually really like that one. So how does ABA therapy ensure long-term success in behavioral change? ABA therapy is generalization and maintenance to ensure long-term success. Generalization means that the skills learned in therapy are applied across different environments, teaching to help individuals practice skills in real-world settings. Additionally, they use maintenance programs to ensure that the learned behaviors continue over time. Even when therapy has been reduced or discontinued, regular monitoring and follow-ups maintain that progress. And then another question I get all the time is, how does ABA differ from other behavior-based therapies such as CBT or cognitive behavior therapy, which some of you might have heard about? So ABA and CBT are both behavior-based therapies, but differ in their focus. ABA focuses on observable, measurable behaviors and uses reinforcement to modify behavior directly. It often involves breaking down tasks into smaller steps and teaching through repetition. Whereas CBT, on the other hand, addresses the relationship between thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. It focuses on helping individuals recognize the change negative thought patterns, to influence behavior, while CBT emphasizes internal thought processes. ABA is more focused on external behaviors and observable changes. Another one I get a lot is, can ABA therapy be used alongside other therapies, such as occupational speech therapy? So the answer is yes. ABA therapy actually often is used alongside other therapies like occupational therapy and speech therapy. In fact, interdisciplinary collaboration is a common and highly effective, and while it's also beneficial, ABA can help reinforce the goals of other therapies by breaking them down to small, achievable steps and reinforcing processes. For example, ABA might support speech therapy goals by using reinforcement strategies to encourage language and development, or help with occupational therapy goals by teaching motor skills or using task analysis. The combination of therapies ensure a more comprehensive approach to individuals' needs. I guess another one I get off the top of my head is, how do parents or caregivers get involved in ABA therapy? What role do they play? So parents and caregivers play a crucial role in ABA therapy. They're often involved in setting goals or reinforcing behaviors at home while participating in training sessions. ABA therapists typically work closely with families to ensure that skills being taught in therapy are practiced and reinforced outside of the therapy sessions. I remember personally, I was very involved with the family, even the community. I still keep in touch with the family to this day, and this was almost like 8 years ago. Parents' involvement is key for generalizing behaviors to everyday situations and maintaining progress over time. Remember, ABA therapy isn't just done with an ABA therapist. ABA therapy is done for life. We do it every day. We don't realize that we should do it every day and make it a little more conscious of that. So caregivers also provide valuable insight into the individual's behavior and preferences, which help therapists tailor the interventions. The last question I'm gonna shoot to you guys today is, what ethical considerations are involved in ABA therapy and how are they addressed? So ethical considerations in ABA therapy include ensuring that the therapy is in the best interest of the individual, while also obtaining informed consent and promoting socially significant outcomes. ABA practitioners are bound by a strict code of ethics established by the Behavior Analyst Certification Board, the BACB. They are required to ensure that the interventions are least intrusive and prioritize positive reinforcement over punitive measures. Additionally, the individual's rights and dignity must always be respected, and interventions must be tailored to meet the individual's needs without causing harm. Regular supervision and peer review help maintain high ethical standards in ABA therapy. If anyone has any questions, I would love to share and love to answer. I'll stay on for a couple more minutes. So yes, I don't know where you're asking that question from, what your location is geographically, but I will say, in America, a lot of times through Medicaid or insurance, you're from India, okay? So ABA therapy is a very, very hard thing to find in certain countries. What I have learned is the best thing to do when you are in a different country than that it's offered from you is to go ahead and learn this yourself. There are free courses online, there are YouTube videos. It's not the real thing, but it'll get you so far, so far. If you go ahead and dive into research, there are so many different areas that you could dive into that'll give you an answer. A lot of people, they join a school program, a master's that is fully asynchronous, which means it's online, and you can learn so much from there. Internships are always available. If you know of a kid, or you're a caregiver for a child who might have autism, to start by one thing. You don't have to do this huge. You could do it small. Start with one behavior. Start with one change. Start with one ABA technique. Start with positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement. You do something well, I give you something. You do something wrong, take it away, which will slowly progress the effects and the prioritization, like that positive reinforcement. So my takeaway from that is, really try doing all the research you can, figure out when ABA was formed, how it was formed. There are so many insightful videos online where you can see the progress from A to Z. And yeah, I hope that was helpful. All right, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and log off. I would love to hear and give advice if I can. If any of you have questions or need additional material to read up on and get a little more familiar with, um, please leave your questions and comments um, in the chat below. I would love to answer them and help out in any way I can. Again, my name's Jacob Fisher, and I hope you enjoyed today. Everyone have a great rest of your day.